AITA for deciding to take my grandmother's last name instead of my stepdad's, even though he has wanted me to use his for years. I'm 19 and my biological father passed away when I was 7. My parents had separated 2 years prior, and by the time of my dad's death, my mom was with Liam, whom she married a year later. Liam has always expressed a desire for me to take his last name, even proposing adoption, but I've consistently declined. We've clashed over this issue before. Recently, my maternal grandmother divorced my grandfather after it emerged that he had been severely abusive towards her during their marriage. This revelation also shed light on his father's similar behavior. My cousins and I were appalled, especially as our uncles, unlike my father, continued to support our grandfather. In solidarity with our grandmother, who reverted to her maiden name, many of us decided to change our last names to hers. I followed through, as did several of my cousins, and one is waiting to turn 18 to do the same. My father had a strained relationship with his father, and I've always sensed that he knew more about his father's character than he let on. If my suspicions are correct, I admire my dad even more for his integrity, especially compared to his brother's attitudes. By adopting my grandmother's maiden name, I feel I'm honoring both my father's values and his beloved mother. This change isn't about erasing my connection to my dad, but reinforcing what he stood for. Liam, however, was upset when he found out about the name change. He felt betrayed that I would alter my last name to my grandmother's rather than his, interpreting it as a personal slight. He argued that it showed I never wanted his name, not because I cherished my biological father's, but because I rejected him specifically. I tried to explain that my decision was about honoring my father's likely wishes and supporting my grandmother in her new beginning, not about disrespecting him. I reassured him that changing my name was a gesture of respect towards my dad's values and the strong woman who raised him. Despite my explanations, Liam maintains that my actions were disrespectful towards him, believing I had done exactly what he had hoped for, but for another family member instead of him. He insists he'll never view my decision in any other light, perceiving it as a direct act of defiance rather than an act of familial solidarity and personal integrity. This situation has strained our relationship, leaving me conflicted and saddened by his inability to understand my perspective. Am I the asshole for changing my last name to support my grandmother and honor my father's legacy, despite Liam's feelings?